Zeit for a date.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your Pennsylvania Dutch Minute. I've done some videos in the past highlighting people who I felt were extremely influential and important in the preservation of Pennsylvania Dutch language. We did a video on Dick Beam. We did a video on Earl Haig. They were two academics that did a lot for the language. I did some episodes earlier on poets and authors like Lloyd Mull, who, set the foundation for our language in regards to literature in the 1800s and into the 1900s. There's another name that I have to do a video on, and it's someone that was a contemporary of all of ours, and some of you might recognize his name. Maybe some of you have some of his stuff in your house, but that's Peter Fritsch. Peter Fritsch is, for my money, as far as the modern authors in our language, I'm saying modern, I'm meaning like post-World War II era. We don't talk about a lot of authors that did their works in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and into the 2000s for a couple reasons. One, there aren't that many. There are a few, but they don't get the pomp and the circumstance that someone like Lloyd Mull got, or John Bermelin, or Henry Harbaugh, mainly because, those names, it's 100 years ago, and there is that aura with those people, and they did great stuff. But my point is that there are people doing really great stuff now as well, or recently. So I want to take some time and talk about Peter Fritsch, because he was sadly a wonderful person, but also someone that did so much for our language. So just a little bit of info about Mr. Fritsch, about Peter. Peter was born in April of 1945 in Allentown. He was the son of John and Catherine Fritsch. Graduated from Brandywine High School, went on to Kutztown University, got a Bachelor's of Science in Art Education and a Master's degree in Education, and he was an art teacher in the Reading Area School District. And beyond that, he also taught Pennsylvania Dutch history and culture as a part-time instructor at Ursinus College. And what I really want to talk to him about today is he was an author, a poet, a musician, and a folk artist. And sadly, he passed away in December of 2015 at the age of 70, entirely too young. We lost Peter. What a great guy. There's a lot of reasons that he's remembered, mainly for three main things. One, his poetry, which we'll talk about. Two, his Scherenschnitte, his scissor cuttings. We'll talk about that. And his music, or his contribution to Pennsylvania Dutch music. And that's where I want to start. He very famously continued the tradition of the New Year's wish, the Najorwinsch, where he and friends of his would travel door to door around New Year's and give the traditional Pennsylvania Dutch New Year's wish, which is a chant given. It's a tradition that dates way back in our history, and usually musicians would do this. They would do this chant pretty much wishing health and prosperity and good luck and all these things in the new year. It would be chanted, and then the musicians would play a song or two, and then usually whoever's house they were at would offer them a drink or maybe some food. Peter and his friends would carry this tradition on up until his death in 2015. In fact, it was so popular that they did it for entire church congregations in and around the area of Langschwam, and down in the Ole Valley. And after his death, two musicians that did this with him are carrying on this tradition now after Peter's gone. I'm going to include a link in the information section of this video that'll take you to another video of Peter actually performing the New Year's wish. I can't embed the video into this video, but if you click the link, please do watch him, listen to him give this New Year's chant, wish, and the instrumentation then afterwards is just beautiful stuff. I mean, it is truly a window into our past and our culture. And I thank him so much for him doing this and carrying this on tradition. And one of my most prized Pennsylvania Dutch possessions among the many that I have is that before Peter passed away, I got him to write down in his own hand his version of the New Year's wish, and I have that, and I'm so thankful that I do. So there's that aspect. He played the hammer Dulcimer, which is, again, a traditional Pennsylvania Dutch instrument that was brought over from the old world here to the new world. And in the video, if you watch it, you will see him playing that, a beautiful instrument to hear play. And he was so good at that. He was also an art teacher, as I mentioned. One of his best folk arts and contributions to a Pennsylvania Dutch folk art is Scherenschnitte, the idea of scissor cuttings, and you've seen these. He wrote a very popular book of his poetry, and as a poet, he, in my mind, is right up there with the greats, with Bermelin, with Gilbert, with Bermelin. I mean, he's up, I believe I already said that, but he's up there, and it's great because he was writing in a time when all of those guys were already dead, and we have their stuff, and he was putting out new poetry. And I want to share one poem from his book, Der Haahne Graeht, the Rooster Crows, which is still available online. I'll include a link where you can buy it. I don't even remember how many pages it is, but it's broken into categories. He wrote a section of poems about or deals with animals, about family, I think about farm life. I don't remember off the top of my head, but if you buy the book, and with each poem he gives the Pennsylvania Dutch and then he gives the English translation. His ability to rhyme, his mastery of the language, his ability for meter and tone. I mean, he truly was a gift. He had a gift for poetry in our language. So I would like to share one of his poems with you guys today. And it's a real short one, but this is out of that book. And if you notice here in the image, at the top of it is one of his Scherenschnitte, one of his scissor cuttings, his paper cuttings. And the poem is called Bussi in der Kuche. So here it is. I'll read it for you, and then I'll give you the English translation. Backi, backi, euer Kuche, kommt die Bussi will's versuche. In der Pan en großer Schleck, jagt die Mami Busli weg. Kommt die Bussi wieder geschliche, meint sie det der Kuche gleiche. Auf der Stuhl noch auf der Tisch, die Mami hat sie gleich verwischt. And the translation of that poem, The Cat in the Cake. Bake, bake the egg cake. The cat comes along and wants to taste it. She gives the cake a big lick. Mother chases the cat away. Again the cat comes sneaking. She thinks she likes this cake. On the chair, then on the table, but mother soon catches her. Of course, in English it doesn't rhyme, but in Pennsylvania Dutch it does. And he did such a... This book, Der Haahne Graeht, is filled with poetry like that. Some of his poems are much longer than that one. Some are as short as that one as well. But I have to take my hat off, literally, to Peter Fritsch. He contributed so much to our language and our culture and our folk art and our music in his life, and I only wish that he was still around today, because I know he'd still be writing, he'd still be playing his hammer Dulcimer, he'd still be cutting Scherenschnitte, and he was such a wonderful, giving, warm man. So I have to give a shout out to Peter Fritsch, a contemporary, somebody that lived during our time period, someone that I got to know, and maybe some of you knew him well. A giving, gentle man. Thank you, Peter, for everything that you did for Pennsylvania Dutch. If you have an idea for a future video, well, you have to email me. Let me know. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button. It'll be up in this corner at some point later on in the video. And also tell your friends. Share our information. Keep learning your Pennsylvania Dutch. Be proud of our culture and our language and our history. It is something definitely to be proud of. Till next time, keep practicing your Pennsylvania Dutch, and Max gut.
Max gut.